Hey YouTube, welcome to the shed. Today I want to show you how I adapted a Lee case feeder to my Dillon 650 XL press. I'll go over the advantages of the Lee and the Dillon case feeders, and as unlikely as it may sound, the Lee actually does have a couple of advantages. I'll also talk about how to build a bracket and mount it to the Dillon press. So let's look at this. The obvious big advantage of the Lee is the price. On eBay, the Dillon case feeder is $186 and shell plate's $39. So you're going to have $225 in your Dillon case feeder. Also on eBay, the Lee case feeder is $23 and the collator is $15, and you're definitely going to want the collator. They should come together. I don't know why they sell them separately. And if you have any means of sticking two pieces of metal together, you'll be able to build a bracket for just a few dollars. So you'd have around $40 in your Lee case feeder. Don't let the price fool you though. The Lee feeder does work well on the Dillon press, if it's mounted right. It actually works better on the Dillon than it does on a Lee Loadmaster. That's because the Loadmaster uses this finicky friction system to push the case onto the shell plate. It can cause trouble. It has to be adjusted just right. It's hard to tell when it's adjusted just right. And I'm sure I'll get a little pushback on that from some Lee guys, but that's what I've found. The Dillon case pusher, and we're going to call it a case pusher because I don't know what it's called. It might be called case pusher. Maybe. Anyway, the Dillon case pusher, well, it works like a Dillon, okay? I didn't use the Lee just because I'm tight as hell, though. I am tight as hell, but that's not the only reason I used it. But it's also quiet, and that's a pretty big deal to me because I like to listen to music while I'm loading ammo. The Dillon feeder's pretty noisy from what I've seen on YouTube, but I've never actually used one, so, take that for what it's worth. So far I've loaded about 6,000 rounds using the Lee feeder on a Dillon press, and I haven't had any problems. It's a little more work, and you're going to get an upside down case now and then, but that upside down case thing is really just part of the workflow with the Lee feeder. It's not that big a deal. To me, this setup's completely normal. I'm not longing for or saving my pennies for the day I can buy a Dillon feeder, but if a Dillon feeder magically appeared here in the shed, would I use it? Well, I'd damn sure give it a try, wouldn't I? Would I learn to live with the noise if price is taken completely out of the equation? Probably. I don't know. The Dillon feeder would be faster and easier. There's no doubt about that. But I might not. I might stick with the Lee because it's quiet. But I don't know. I don't have a Dillon case feeder, so I really don't know. Anyway, let's do some loading. The gray thing in the top of the collator is a case deflector. It's supposed to help prevent upside down cases. I haven't noticed it helping all that much though. I'm standing so that I can see the entire shell plate while I'm loading. So when I get an upside down case like that, it's real easy. Just flip it over, slide it in the shell plate, and keep going. Now the first stage is empty, and I normally just let it run out, slip a case in, rotate the tube, and just keep going. I built this bracket using 3/4 inch steel conduit. which is actually 7/8 inch OD, and 1 inch by 1/8 inch steel strap. The strap I cut to 5 inches long. The conduit is 13 3/4 inches long. And I welded this. I think you could probably braze it if you didn't have a welding machine. I think you could braze it with a MAP gas torch. From the top of the bracket, the first hole is 5 1/16 inch, and the bottom hole is 13 1/4. And you can see I've drilled these holes out oversized. It uses 1/4 inch bolts, and I think I used a 3/8 inch bit. So that way you can have a little adjustment side to side. And this hole is drilled over toward the side closest to the press, because you don't have that much room to work with the bottom of that case feeder. And it's about 4 5/8 inches from the back of the bracket. This is the base of the Dillon case feeder. It comes with a real long bolt from the factory. You can change that to a 3/4 inch bolt. Makes a much neater application. By taking this Phillips head screw out of the middle, taking the long bolt out, and putting your 3/4 inch bolt in. Attach the base to the bracket. I've got it where this line is pretty much parallel with the top of the bracket. You don't have a lot of room to work. This would work much better for this application if they had put this bolt on this side, but they weren't really building for this application, were they? Use the bolts and saddles that came with the press. These saddles actually fit the 3/4 inch conduit perfectly. Before you tighten the bracket, you need to adjust it so that the tube coming out of the bottom of the case feeder is all the way up against the back of the case tube adapter. The idea is that you want the case feeder as far back as possible so the primer rod doesn't hit the collator. Once everything's assembled and tightened down, you may actually have to take a crescent wrench and bend this strap so that the entire case feeder is leaning back enough to clear the primer rod. These 1/4 inch impact drivers are about the handiest thing I ever bought. Once the bracket's tightened into position, you just slide the feeder tubes with the collator already in place on here, and you're ready to go. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it useful. If so, you could give me a like. Or even better yet, you could subscribe. That'd be awesome. Anyway, thanks for watching.